Fantastic. Thank you. So what I'd like to do is I'll tell a little bit about myself and Space Foundation, and then I have a few slides. So the Space Foundation is a U.S. nonprofit that does business internationally, focusing on the entire workforce development pipeline. So kindergarten through 12th grade, teacher professional development, adult non-accredited education, and then programs that relate to business professionals in the space industry. So we look at that full workforce pipeline. Myself, I started my career as a traditional space person. I was in the U.S. Air Force. I was a space procurement officer, so purchasing, doing the acquisition of satellites and ground station and launch vehicles. And when I went to retire from the Air Force, I was very fortunate that Space Foundation had an opening to be the Chief Operating Officer. So I'm so thrilled to join you. I'll jump into a few slides to kind of talk about what is the global space economy, how is it taking off, what are those opportunities for you to be part of it. And it looks like you should be able to see my slides, I'm hoping.
We can see it, please.
Perfect, thank you. We're going to try to talk about how space has really evolved, because sometimes people don't think about the space industry as an opportunity for entrepreneurship and investment. So in 2021, we saw private citizens make it to space via commercial efforts. So again, previous to this, usually it was countries, space agencies that launched citizens into space. They were using military or astronauts. Here we have private citizens are now going to space. We also saw the U.S. land a rover called Perseverance on Mars and fly a drone called Ingenuity on Mars. Now, think about it. We flew an aircraft on another planet. In 2022, we saw the James Webb Space Telescope unfold and started sending back amazing images and information from the earliest formations of our universe. So what are we looking at for 2023? Wow, it's an amazing time. We're still looking at those amazing pictures from James Webb. We're still seeing private citizens go to space, but now there's a mission from SpaceX to take private citizens around the moon. We're seeing NASA looking at how will we replace the International Space Station, which will be decommissioned in 2030, with private space stations and awarding contracts. And we've seen the crew be announced that will be part of the Artemis crew to return to the moon. So just to highlight Apollo era, the Apollo program, 60 years ago, Artemis was the twin sister of Apollo. So now this is the Apollo generation. So it's an exciting time for space. So I've talked a lot about going to the moon and even onto Mars and beyond, but I really want to wrap that technology back here to Earth. How is it benefiting you? How can you be an entrepreneur? And what do you want to invest in? So in 2022, the global space economy was $546 billion. 78% of that was commercial. It's products and services we're using every day. By 2030, the global space economy will be over $1 trillion. By 2040, over $3 trillion. And again, the majority of that is products and services that we're using every day right here on Earth that are benefiting us. So I'm going to show you a video. Please let me know. You don't have to hear the sound. It's just music. I'm going to play a video of some of that space technology that's part of our everyday lives.
Altitude, velocity, light. 8.5 down, 220 feet. 15 forward. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff on Apollo 11.
Dave, an extraordinary television picture here.
And this is exploration at its greatest.
This nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
4.
So again, it's highlighting that amazing space technology, investments in the space industry, no idea how that dividend would pay off. And now that technology over 50 years is now part of our everyday life. Today, we're using Zoom for this conference. Zoom technology and telecommunications is all part of space technology. We can all pick up our cell phones, and many of your cell phones have NASA imaging technology that captures that perfect picture. Fire retardant clothing, that's one of my personal favorites because my husband was a firefighter for more than 30 years. And because of fire retardant clothing, he got to come home safely every night. We also have amazing healthcare technologies that have come from the space industry. When we look at the Hubble Space Telescope, what we don't think about oftentimes is how that's transferred to our everyday lives. So the Hubble was designed to look into space for anomalies. A company took that same technology to look for anomalies in space and used it to look for anomalies in the human body. And that's how mammogram detection was formed. So thanks to Hubble Space Telescope, millions of women and men are saved every day because of early detection of cancer. Many times we think that space and sustainability are separate, but I want to highlight that they're actually together. Space is part of solving our sustainable development goals here on planet Earth. The sustainable development goals were all agreed to by the UN members in 2015 to reach them by 2030. We are definitely behind, but here is how space technology can help us catch up. I will highlight that Space Foundation as a champion for education. We are part of those sustainable development goals with quality education, gender equality, partnering for the goals, innovation, and more. So one of those areas I'll highlight is food. Food security is very important. There's 3 different forms of technology on this slide, and in the essence of time, I'm only going to talk about one, and that is on the far left. Those are 3 entrepreneurs that I met at Qatar University. They were studying to be nutritionists, so they're not in the space industry. And what they wanted to do was create a healthy, delicious snack that would also help to reduce food waste. So what they did is they looked at fruits and vegetables that are normally thrown away, and they used NASA freeze-dried technology to now capture those fruits and vegetables and create a healthy, delicious snack that also reduces food waste and creates more food security in the Middle East and around the region. So again, entrepreneurs using space technology to create a new product and service that benefits us every day. When we think about water management, water solves many challenges. On this slide, I have my good friend Lumbi Malambo, who is the UN Global Leader in Clean Water and Sanitation. And she has a nonprofit that helps create wells near to villages in Africa. Because in many parts of Africa, women have to walk 4 to 10 miles one way to get water for their families. And that can prevent them from going to school or getting jobs. In addition, that water may be contaminated, so it makes them and their animals and their families sick. So by drilling boreholes near villages, we solve clean water and sanitation. We allow women to get jobs, which can help eliminate poverty. We create gender equality, and we also allow girls to go to school, creating gender education. So one form of solving one problem, clean water and sanitation, can solve many of the other sustainable development goals. Now, the reason I highlight this is now when those boreholes are within 30 minutes of a village, again, women only now have to walk 30 minutes one way and back, so now they can go to school and get jobs. We can also talk about energy, the importance of looking for clean, renewable, and affordable energy. And one of those is solar panels. Solar panels were designed by NASA many decades ago for the space program. And right now, NASA is looking at how can we improve them? Because what we're noticing on Mars is that there are dust storms that can last for months that covers a large portion of the planet and covers those solar panels, and they become less and less efficient until they no longer recharge the batteries. We have that same problem here on Earth. In many parts of the world, there are many dust storms and the solar panels can get covered. So what NASA is looking at is creating vibrating solar panels that can clean the solar panel to allow it to continue charging. And they are looking for ways to increase efficiency of those solar panels. If you're interested in learning more about space technology, the patents that are available, both NASA and ESA have tech transfer offices. Right now at NASA, there are thousands of patents that are waiting to be commercialized in healthcare and energy and communications and agriculture and more. And they're looking for entrepreneurs that want to apply for those patents and commercialize that technology. If you're an investor, you can look for entrepreneurs that are commercializing that space technology that's already available and bringing it to market. I'm going to show one more video about some of that amazing space technology that's been commercialized for use every day. So what I'll do is I'll take my slides down. Obviously, there's so much more we could talk about today, but with the limited time, I'm happy to look at the chat and see if there might be a question or two we can answer in the last few minutes, or raise your hand. We got welcome, thank you. Some of the places you can follow me or Space Foundation, we are on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, most social media platforms. So it's a great place to look for space technology. Follow us, as well as amazing opportunities for entrepreneurs and investors to invest in space technology and entrepreneurship. So I'm looking to see if we have any questions. I don't see any questions in the chat. How about I share a little bit about some great ways you can come into the space industry if you're interested. So some of those ways I look at are a 5-step interstellar guide to space, and that's awareness, access, training, connecting, and mentoring. That first step is what we're doing today. We're building awareness that there are opportunities for you to come into the space industry, whether it's becoming an entrepreneur or investor, or maybe you want to be social media, you want to go work for a startup company. There's lots of great ways to come into the space industry. The second way is we need to create access points. And some access points could be programs that provide scholarships or awards or investment into entrepreneur programs. The third step is training, formal or informal training. Maybe you want to be a rocket scientist, you're definitely going to need a degree, but maybe you can get some informal training by volunteering and taking on hard projects and coming into the space industry. The fourth is building your networks, joining organizations like Space Foundation, Women Tech Network, Space Generation Advisory Council, the United Nations Office of Outer Space Affairs, and many more. And the last step is finding great mentors. And you can find mentor programs with Space Generation Advisory Council, Women Tech Network, and ANUSA. So I hope that gives you a little insight. I know I'm at time. I don't see any questions, but please feel free to reach out to Space Foundation or myself on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We look forward to seeing you